Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm working on another wet on wet painting. This one I'm going to go a little darker. If you notice, I'm starting out the background with a little bit of ultramarine blue and Payne's gray. I'm purposely not doing the complete wet paper so I have a little more control. So you'll notice that I use a lot of water once I put the pigment down to move the paint around. So, I'll go kind of in between just using paint and water or just using water on my brush. Going in a little intense with the Payne's gray, and you'll notice later that that just blends. So I put it down and then later we'll manipulate it on the paper, allowing it to dry just a little bit so it doesn't end up too muddy. And in this tutorial, I'm going to show you where when I've left in the sky area the pigment a little too long, it made it difficult to lift it and gave me a water stain that I wasn't happy with. So I'll show you how I corrected that and made it, um, uh, more manageable. And I had to go back in and go in a little darker to cover up. And the other thing is, like right there, I'm having to dab the water, the paint and the water. You have to keep an eye on the piece constantly. Watercolor has a complete life of its own, as I've said before, and it's constantly moving. And that's the beauty in watercolor, is that it does have a life of its own. You have control over it, but you don't have complete control. And that's part of the beauty in watercolor. So, with any painting, and I'm sure for most artists, you start out with an idea and then you slowly evolve into something totally different than what you thought. And this is what happens, I'm going to say, almost 100% of every piece I've ever worked on, and I've been doing this a long time. So I'm going in with yellow ochre in the foreground, and I just brought in more Payne's gray and a little bit of alizarin crimson and raw sienna, and to make a nice rich rust. And I'm going back into the sky. You see, manipulating what I put down, and you'll notice that the Payne's gray doesn't look so harsh because it moved. It moved around the paper. And up there in the sky, I'm just trying to move the paint a little bit. I have actually a piece of hair that landed on the paper, and so I dabbed it away, and you notice it. I had to use a paper towel, and it lifted it a little bit more than I wanted to, but I can go back in. You can always go darker. It's hard to go lighter. And like I've said so many times, watercolor, is a challenging medium, but that's the fun of it too. Trying to work through it, and after all these years of painting, I still find myself learning and doing these little tutorials and going back and looking at the videos and watching. And of course, when it's fast forward is even better because I'm getting to see things that I like and don't like in the piece and how I wish I had done it just a little bit differently. I'm going in with a little opaque tan to soften the piece because I was headed towards kind of a misty, stormy day, and this is helping with that look. And just going in with another dab of my ever so favorite black that I use, and just getting the smoke feel there. So if you notice in the background in the sky, I've got top right and in the center, I've got a water stain in the far right and kind of a 3/4 of the way to the right that I'm not happy with. And I'm going to try to dab it out, but you'll see it's permanent. I can't do anything with that. So try and try as I might, I can't. So I opted to go a little darker and see that line in the center. So try to get it out, can't. So embrace it and make it part of the painting. And that's the thing with watercolor. When you can't do one thing, change it, switch it around, turn it into another look. It's just a painting, you know. This isn't anything but fun tutorial to challenge myself a little bit. And working faster has been rewarding as well. I highly recommend it. Just paint, paint, paint. You know, as I always do, I flip upside down, bringing in some of that opaque tan. And again, just enjoy what you're doing here. You know, the more you paint, the better you'll get. So the lesson today is when you make a mistake, or I shouldn't even say mistake, when accidents happen in a painting and you can't adjust it, embrace it and turn it into something else. So I'm happy with this piece. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, and I'll see you next time when I start another painting. If you like what I'm doing, like and subscribe, and I'll see you again. Have a wonderful day.